Working for you. A weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Lesroy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. Working for You is weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcast on participating stations. Working for You.
Good afternoon, and I welcome you to Working for You. I am Lesroy Williams. We thank you very much for tuning in to this program, as you usually do from week to week. We appreciate your presence and your contribution very much. Today we are going to be discussing a very important topic, that of national security, and in particular we are going to be talking about the work of the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services, the important role that the fire department plays in national security, and some of the things that are happening within the fire and rescue services. My guests today are Officer Lesroy Keynes, who is the Fire Substation Officer, and Miss Louise Clark, who is Fire Officer. Welcome to this program.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. I noticed that you have my name as well, Lesroy. Right, so before we start getting into things, I would like you to set the context in terms of what is the role, the important role that the fire and rescue services plays in national security.
Let me say good afternoon to the listening audience of the via internet, radio, and otherwise. Now, Mr. Williams, the fire department plays a very critical role within national security. Our first main priority will be fire prevention. Fire prevention as it relates to fire inspections, private buildings, government buildings alike, search and rescue.
Yes.
Hazmat, dealing with hazmat materials in different areas where it requires, and also aerodrome, as well as one of the main critical roles in our economy booster,
Sure.
the airport. So those are just a couple of basic areas where we share part in the government, national security.
Okay, what you have outlined, of course, in terms of role and function, but how is that linked to national security? How is it linked to our national security?
Let me add a bit to that. It's just not for security, it's also for safety. Without fire services, what will happen? So
Right.
we don't only do extinguishing of fires, we're there also for safety. You might see us at shows, into school that just gone. We are not there for just for fire to break out. We are there for safety. Just in the event of, God forbid, that when the stadium have to collapse, we are there to do rescuing also. That's a major part of for national security for us. And also in the community. You can't just go and throw anything on any fire. If you have an electrical fire, you cannot use water. So we have to have the proper skills and knowledge to do the extinguishing of the fires.
Okay, so both of you are firefighters.
That's good.
How do you see your role as a firefighter? How do you understand the importance of your role as a firefighter? I'm asking the question in a different way. Taking it from the general and rather basing it on the individual.
Well, the perspective of our roles, as you said before, is very critical. Very critical in the sense we play a partnership, national security, where we say join hands with the police, the army, and the nurses, the whole national security. For example, when it requires to special needs from us as fire rescue, we get together and we as a team. Is the saying goes like a chain is stronger than the weakest link. For example, we had to assist our partners just recently in not rescuing but procuring a body recently up in the hills.
Yes.
We
The Olives Mount.
The Olives Mountain, yes. So we had experts in that. So it's not only firefighting. Now, when it comes to the show, different shows, we have to give the all clear, the green light for a show to commence. For example, if we're not at the airport, the aircrafts would not come to our federation. So we see our role as being something very critical, with an importance in our federation.
Sure. Okay, so basically you have a role in terms of, as Ms. Clark pointed out, safety, in terms of life, of course, and property.
Property is not, yes.
Property
Property is an-
conservation, incident, of course, stabilization. Because if you don't get to the problem, or if you don't get to the incident in time, there really can be no stabilization. So you have to get to the incident, which of course, if you don't, can potentially escalate into something much greater and cause a lot of harm. For examples, we know that fires spread, and they can spread rapidly, especially in dry weather, where you have dry vegetation and things like that. And we see a lot of that, for example, we watch in CNN, places like California, where in forests and so on, fires spread, wildfires. People have to run for their lives. People's homes go up in smoke. Forests destroyed. Habitation wiped out, and animals and other form of life, and so on. So you play a critical role in that sense. Now, in terms of public education, how is the department involved in educating the public in terms of, prevention of fires? And if there are fires, what to do?
No, Mr. Williams, what we do, we have a drive running, where we go down educate the our government workers, the private institutions, where we do fire inspections. Not only fire inspections, but we do fire extinguisher training, where we deal with theoretical and practical exercises. So we sort of get the individuals, the employees, get them prepared, get them prepped, give them the basic skills, knowledge in reference to extinguishing small fires, or the fires are in the incipient stages. So before we reach on the scene, they could sort of get the fire under control, depending on the nature and the incident. And also we have our main drive, our annual summer safety program. We thought it was best to introduce this program to try to alleviate the fires and deaths caused by children. So far, I want to say that the program is doing pretty well.
Yes.
Since the inception, we have a vast decrease in fires and incidents caused by children, and that's all.
Okay, so you take it to the children because in some cases, I always used to hear that as a child you must not play with fire.
That's correct.
You know, and children are always taught that. And if they play with fire, they know what the consequence of that can be. You get burned.
Well, Mr. Williams, you know, coming up as a small child, you will not know what it is until you touch it. And when you touch it and you feel it now, then you're gonna walk out now. You know, it's hot. Even though, you know, as a little children, we get mischievous, to say, and then, you know, even though our parents say don't touch, we still gonna go and touch. When we feel the effect, you know, when we touch, that's when we start to heed to our parents or guidance. You know what I mean?
Right. So you start with the children, and they learn from an early age
Correct.
the dangers or the hazards of fire, the damage that fire can do. But do you teach them as well
Of course.
the good in terms of fire? Because fire is both an enemy and fire is also a friend.
Of course. Well, back to our summer program. The subjects, there are a wide variety of subjects where we teach the do's and the don'ts. You know, for example, we teach them how to drop, stop, and roll when the clothes on fire. So they at a nurture age, they learn these skills. Because you know, the children, they are the future of our federation. We have to start there in curbing the children and of our federation.
Now, in your duties as fire officers, what would you say are some of the common causes of fires in terms of how they start? And what would you recommend in terms of the prevention of this?
Well, with house fires, most of our house fires now are started with careless cooking. You will find a lot of us will start to cook. We feel like a lot of water is in it, so we'll either go down the street to gossip or go to the shop.
Or watching soap opera
I don't know about that.
and forget your pot on the stove. It happens.
Or come home, you're exhausted, or you have consumed alcohol and you fall asleep. So what I would like to tell people is do not do it if you're sleepy or if you're under the influence of alcohol. If you're going to the grocery store, turn the pot off, or if you're doing something, get a timer. So at least it can remind you that you have a pot on if you're going to watch the TV or whatever the need may be. So that will be something. And don't leave anything that is flammable near the stove. That is what a lot of our house fires are right now. The second one is electrical. We tend to put a lot of stuff in our surge. They're overcrowded. So we would like to tell you, don't do it. Or if you're leaving, turn them off. Don't put clothes over the fan. You know, the motor to the back will get hot, get heated, you have another fire. So that is it basically with the house fires. A lot of the wild bush fires, they're malicious. They are malicious. It's not from heat or anything like that. You'll find you have a fire in the east, you out it. When you start in the west, it's like it's being deliberate. So we're asking people to desist from it, because not only are you endangering the atmosphere, you have people in the surrounding who is asthmatic. The livestock are in that area. Some of the livestock are also in that area. You're destroying people's plantation and their livestock. and it's nothing good that they're doing. So we like people to stop it, please. I understand sometimes you want to get an area burned because you want to build, or your grass is too high for safety, whatever reason. Just try and cut a little grass every day and it will be done.
So you think that some of the burning, when we go around the island, we see, bush, dry bush on the side of the road, or cane fields, or on the mountains, and so on. There are fires. You're saying that some of this is started maliciously.
Yes.
And what happens, of course, is when the vegetation is removed, and then we have heavy rain, it creates another problem as well, because the vegetation holds the soil together and so on, and prevents, of course, water from hitting the ground directly.
Yes.
It intercepts the raindrops, and so what you can have is that you can have soil erosion, which can create another problem. So, one, you have electrical as a cause.
Before we go on any further, another one is arson.
Right.
That's another one that we have dealing with also, arson. So don't spite someone because of whatever the reason is to go and maliciously burn the house. We would actually go and find kerosene on materials like cloth, clothing, whatever it may be to start the home. That hurts. I don't like house fires.
Before you can come to a conclusion of arson, there has to be a thorough investigation done. Could you tell us, of course, what are some of the ways in which you can conclude, for example, that the fire was started as an act of arson?
We are not the one to...
It is the police,
Yes,
is it?
yes. So normally when we have a house fire, we'll have to call the police and they will be the one to assist us in the investigation. And
No.
they would give us the reports.
Right, but the police are not really trained as fire officers. You would have, of course, in your training as fire officers, ways of detecting arson and so on. Do you provide advice to the police, or are you a part of the investigation in terms of looking at what has taken place and looking for clues and providing that to the police?
Yes, we will. We can tell where a fire started because if it started in the middle, you will see the extra burning there. So then it will spread, however it will spread. Once we enter a home, we do our investigation on completion of extinguishing the fire.
And
So
the
we
report
walk
is given to the police?
Yes.
Okay, so you submit a report to the police.
You will submit a report to the police if it is suspected by the police. Then they will ask for a report. And as you said, wait for Mr. Williams. We suspect arson.
So you're saying that if only if there is reasonable suspicion,
Yes.
that the police will ask for a report.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We don't. It's not. If they suspect any crime, we will call the police in and let them know what we observe, and then we will collaborate with each other, and then we will come up with a solution argument. If this is that or not.
So you're saying it's not in every act or in every case where there is a fire that there is a report submitted to the police?
No.
No.
But we do it for our internal reports, internal records, and if any residents need any reports from us, they could obtain it from our administration office.
Okay. Right. So the victim can get a report.
Correct. But the procedure you have to write, make a request by writing. You have to state you have some proof of your residence, that the residence is yours, and you occupy. That's all the information you need in writing to the fire chief, and then we will get the report. You just can't come by the come by the administrative office and ask for a report. You have to request it in writing. So we have the documents on file to say that you requested this report on this file.
Okay. Now, Officer Keynes, as Officer Clark pointed out, there are a number of careless lighting of fires, and she said malicious. Could you provide us with some sort of a stats, maybe going back 3 years, in terms of the activity of the fire and rescue services, in terms of, you know, their work with outing fires and that sort of thing?
No, Mr. Williams, that has been with concern of ours. Because we don't know which day that the fire will reach so far that it will burn down person's house if it reach up in the hills, etc., etc. Because the stats shows, as far as 2016, just in the Basti area alone, there's been an increase every year. 2016 it was 14. Around this the first quarter of 2016, it was 23 fire cars, violent fire, the first quarter of 2016. Then 2017 it was 33, and now to present now, Mr. Williams, it is 65. 65. So we presently we had about the 90% increase from since 2016. That's only the Basti area.
And 90% increase in fires.
97%.
97%.
Right, for the first quarter. That's a brief stats. Brief stats from the Basti area. Now, when it comes to when it comes to the nearest area, just to give you a brief idea of the nearest area, 2017 first quarter, we have 42 fires in total. But 2018 to present, the first quarter of 2018, we have a decrease of 12 fires. It's 30 fires within the nearest section, 13 bush fires for the first quarter. That's far. So there's a reduction in the fires in the nearest area, nearest division.
There's a reduction.
Yes. So
and in St. Kitts, there's an escalation, an increase.
Correct.
Do you have any sort of wise to proffer, as you know, why?
No, it basically, my opinion, Mr. Williams, I think that some persons, for example, those persons who have gardeners or gardener was not, you know, back in the history days, they have a method named slash and burn method.
Yes.
Yes, and some of them that's the way they're using. That's the trend, you know, slash and burn. They're not concerned about it getting away. I mean, are concerned about getting the area clear. For example, just recently they had a fire at the back by La Amiga Funeral Home, and you know, the fire in the night. You know?
And it was not a cremation.
No, you know, and just to give a little education to the public, the heat. We have the heat, you know, in St. Kitts. In St. Kitts, no, from the sun. The sun will not ignite fires by itself. You have to have medium where the heat rays reflect and cause, for example, magnifying glass, a piece of glass. You know, so the heat will not cause fire on its own from the sun. So sometimes person choke the cigarette butts in different areas. You know, so we just bring to the general public. Every year we come on the radio, we say the same thing. Desist from starting these fires.
Yeah, but you see, sometimes what happens is that don't care how you talk, don't care how you discourage people, don't care how, as you use the word, ask people to desist from such activity. People will continue to do it if they are not held accountable. And held accountable by legislation, there must be some sort of a penalty for people doing this kind of thing. What penalties are there? What legislation is there to prevent this sort of a people just starting fires everywhere and anywhere? You know, polluting the atmosphere, affecting people who have certain respiratory problems and illnesses and so on. The you know, possibility of it spreading and all that sort of thing, and endangering lives and so on.
I'm sure they have the Smart Charges Act. They have an offence there in the Smart Charges Act, but to be honest with you, we have to catch the person in the act, and that is very difficult. If somebody sees someone starting it, and then they will come to give evidence. You know what I mean? But that's a kind of rough one. You know? But there is something that could penalize or could take some persons to court. The Smart Charges Act. But it's how we're going to get the evidence. And, you know, some persons might not want to come and say that Mr. Williams started the fire. You know? So, yes, there is something there that could give penalties to persons caught in the act.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you live in a neighborhood and your neighbors start fire. They always burn in fire. And your house is smoky. The clothes that you have in your house and outside on the line are smoky. Besides, you have to be coughing and all that sort of a thing. What advice would you give for people living in neighborhoods and in close proximity to each other? Because I suppose it has to do a lot with sensitivity and you know, but should people be, okay, let me put the question differently. Should people be burning things in their yards?
Well, Mr. Williams,
like old clothes and board and all garbage and all. Should people be doing that?
no.
We give permission to burn. We do give permission to burn. But you have to come to the fire services. Go to the one in your district. Seeking permission to burn, an officer will come and inspect what you have to burn and the area. If it is not fit, they will not authorize you. If they see it fit, they will authorize you. But bear in mind, if I authorize you to burn and Mr. Keynes have a problem, we can make you, or we will make you put it out.
Well, I can tell you a lot of people are burning and they're not going to the fire and rescue services for no kind of permission to burn. They just feel that they can burn. And that is why I asked that question.
Yeah. Do you call the fire department and we come and we put it out? So that is what you need to do. Anybody's burning, even if they have permission, because some of them will say, oh, I have permission from the fire rescue services. Yes, but it is disturbing your neighbor, so therefore we will have to come and put it out.
So it's the spirit of the law,
Yes,
more than just the letter of the law.
yes.
But
No,
Mr.
Mr.
Keynes,
Williams, let me shed a little more light on the permission to burn. No, it is collaborative effort with the health department and the fire rescue services.
environmental health.
Right. There is a nuisance act which speaks about polluting the atmosphere and that sort of thing when it comes to lighting fires. So it is, as I said before, it's an effort done along with the health department and the fire department. We don't really give permission to burn. But we advise the health department, due to the Nuisance Act, the Health Nuisance Act for the health department. So that's the way it is being done.
Okay, so if people need to burn, what is recommended? You don't really give permission to burn, but in certain areas, there's burning. For example, let's look down at Connery Dump. Burning is taking place there. So they have permission to burn down there. The Solid Waste Management Corporation, they have been given permission from the Fire and Rescue Services to burn down there.
No.
That's not entirely
No.
correct.
It's entirely correct.
That's not
That
entirely
no.
correct.
It's not entirely correct, but they're
No.
burning. That is one
They're
of the
not
way in which they
burning.
get rid of garbage down there. And
No, they don't burn.
what happens? I'm sorry.
My experience when you come to the Solid Waste Management Corporation is that over a period of time when they dispose of the garbage, when they
you have
compress them.
you have combustible things there
Right.
that
So,
somehow will explode
that's correct.
and then cause fires.
That's correct.
So the fires are accidentally ignited.
Right.
Some are accidentally
Bear in mind,
ignited.
we had one a few weeks ago. It was in the night. In the night it was. And that wasn't accidentally ignited, I feel like. So maybe someone went and ignited it. I don't know.
So there's no legal burning going on down at the landfill.
No.
What is happening is that fires happen because of certain
Combustible
combustibles.
materials, correct.
That
That's
would
correct.
start them
Over a period of time.
over a period of time.
Right.
So, if this is the case, then what do you recommend to people? Because obviously the truck comes around and collects garbage, and combustibles are in the garbage, whether they be insecticide cans or whatever are under pressure. And so what is your recommendation so that this does not happen at the landfill? Or is there a way to dispose of combustibles so that this does not happen?
Well, Mr. Williams, well, the best we can the advice we could give to the Solid Waste Management Corporation is to try and filter the stuff, separate the stuff that will flammable stuff, separate them in an area where they will not catch a fire. You understand? That's the only thing, because the way they do it over there, they bury the stuff, they bury the garbage. When they bury the garbage, that's where you get the heat.
Of
gives
course,
out, and
because
then-
the soil, yes, is hot.
and then you get that over a period of time.
Okay. So we are talking about fires. Now, what would be some of the tips that you would have for fire prevention? What are some of the tips? Because we want to have a reduction in fires. Let's face it. What are some of the tips that you would have for reducing fires?
Now, some of the tips we have, we teach children never to play with matches and lighters. Make sure there's items up and away from young children. For example, make sure the curtain is not close to the flame, the stove. You know, some persons have the kitchen curtain close to the stove, and depending on the wind direction, the curtain will blow, and if the stove is on, it could catch the material. Smokers, do not go to smoke in your bed. You go to smoke in your bed? Yes, Mr. Williams, this happens. When you go to smoke, you come home from work, you're exhausted, you smoke, you go in your bed and you pull in your cigarette, and then, I mean,
Or weed?
two that's all. Two tools, and then you drop sleep, and then the butt drop, and then you start the fire. You know? And persons, you create a evacuation plan. Not only create evacuation plan for your residents, but also test it periodically in case of a fire, what to do. what to do and where to go. Make sure you have escape routes. Just in the event that this area is burning, this escape route where you could go to get out of the fire.
Yes.
And don't call us. We are the experts. We are the experts. Your house is on fire. Just call us. 465-2515. That's our main hotline at the Battersea Fire Station. So that's some of the basic tips. And Mr. Williams, just to add,
Let me add that one before you finish. Candles. Some of us don't have power when power goes. Never leave a burning candle unattended. And as I said earlier with the stove, be careful when you're cooking. Cook more safely and cautious.
Some people have electricity, you know, but I have seen photos. I don't know about it, but Valentine's and so people put candles in the bed and so, you know, and all that sort of a thing. That is probably going to the extreme.
Yeah, be careful with the candles.
They want it lit and they want it hot.
Yes, be careful with the candles.
Yeah. Now, the importance of firefighting equipment. Maybe you need to tell me. Firefighting equipment and the importance of it and what each household should actually have. And is there a law that we have for each household to have certain basic firefighting equipment? Is there any law?
no, Mr. Williams, there is no law when it pertains to residential homes. But there's
Do you think there should be one?
Yes.
yes, there should be one. There should be one. Because something if you do make it mandatory for certain residents to have these equipment, these fire suppression systems, equipment in your home, they will not have them. If you make it mandatory, it's only for our own safety. For us to preserve and protect our property. You know, and if we paying a mortgage, we have to have the sense of that we want to preserve or protect our investment. Because, you know, mortgage is an investment. So I would say yes, I think it should be mandatory to get some sort of fire suppression system or even extinguisher in your home.
So at present, it is mandatory to have these in public offices and so on.
That's
Businesses,
right.
Government
Yes.
offices, right. But there is no, and that's mandatory. But is there a law for that?
No, not as yet.
There's still no law even for that.
No.
Right. So we probably need to have legislation brought maybe to the parliament to make this something that is mandatory because it's in the interest of national security.
I think that is something sustainable development. They are the one who is looking into it. So, you know, when you have the plans, they're telling you that you have to install firehouse or extinguishers and stuff like that.
Yeah, but there is no law
Not as yet.
as yet.
As yet.
But tell us what some. Okay, sure, go ahead.
Let's just shed a bit of light on that. They take the building board are taking a different approach. Just recently, they will do some inspection to the different various buildings or establishments, and they will recommend that they get these suppression systems. You know, and then they will in turn the company will then in turn call us for inspection, and for us to inspect the property and to give our recommendations as they see fit when it comes to extinguishers and the sort of fire suppression equipment. So yes, the different approach now. We get calls every so often. We get calls to go to inspect these businesses. So just to say the business owners, they're seeing it in a more different perspective now. They're getting prompt to come to the fire services, and every so often we go out and we do inspection recommendations. But when it comes to the government institutions, we go out annually and do inspections at these buildings.
Okay, what are some of the equipment that you would recommend that residential homes should have?
Well, the cheapest-
Fire equipment,
Well, the
firefighting equipment.
Extinguishers are very costly. But for a device for fire, I think that everyone should have an alarm, install a smoke alarm, a smoke detector.
But
That is the
you
cheapest.
talk about being costly, but
Yeah.
let's face it. Let's face it. An extinguisher might be costly, but costlier
That
is losing
true.
your life.
That is true. That is so correct.
Mhm.
But an extinguisher is the cheapest thing then. Because to have a firehouse is more money. That's the one with the alarms, or have a little hose you can run.
Yes.
Yes. So the extinguisher is the best thing at this time.
Mhm. So the fire alarms, which of course would alert you, and then the fire extinguisher. What about things like firefighting blankets and all of that? Fire sprinklers.
Yeah, the sprinklers and the blankets. And when you're going to sleep, no flammable night gowns. That's the best thing. Try to avoid flammable night gowns. Yes, they might be sexy, but try to avoid them.
Okay. I hope the audience has taken heed of that.
No, just to touch on the suppression system. Just recently, we have the Park Hyatt recently opened. They have first class state-of-the-art sprinkler suppression system where they install show up the facility. That building too. We had to go there and to give our recommendations and also to inspect the property. So yes, that too is one of the areas, the avenues we give advice on.
Now, your job is a unique one because there are people who might say, I wonder what these fire officers are doing all day. There's only a fire taking place ever so often. They have domino competitions down there and so on. They're liming most of the time. And somehow your work is underappreciated and underestimated. But you have to risk your lives to save the lives of others. And maybe you can speak for me to that aspect of your job. Tell us about the risks that you have to undertake in your work. What are some of the fears, maybe, that you have, and so on? Because let's face it, nobody wants to face a raging fire. Nobody at all wants to face a raging fire. And in the face of sometimes this monster, you have to give your all in trying to save lives and property and livestock and all of that. Where most people would run away from a fire, you have to approach that fire.
No, Mr. Williams, let me talk from experience. From tender age coming up in the service. No, I was one that excited when it comes to extinguishing fires. I find it a joy, and most of my colleagues, we say we feel a genuine rush when there's a fire. We want to go and extinguish the fire. We see it as we battling. We're battling, and no one wants to lose the fight. So we're not happy when fire starts, but we are prepared to extinguish any fire. just to say, we also have to be educate ourselves when it comes to the different materials they have today, because every material burn differently. Some burn hotter than some. So we have to educate ourselves and do research on different materials. For example, at the airport where I am stationed, now minute 90 to 120 seconds we have to respond. 60 seconds, the fire could burn to the skin of the aircraft. So, and when it comes to that,
So there must be fire equipment at certain places. It's an international requirement.
Yes.
Is that what you were saying? For example, at airports, at hospitals, at certain critical institutions, there must be the fire service or the availability of it. It mustn't be too far away.
No.
Mm-hmm.
And also just to tie in with our vision, when it comes to ensuring that we are more knowledgeable, professional firefighters, and positive perspective of the general public, we also get training as well. That is one of the developments that we undertake. For example, training internally. We just recently had a road traffic collision training. It's our intention to have more training, for example, hazmat, aerodrome training locally, and search and rescue. So we are not only sitting down, we be getting also prepared when we have to respond to any sort of incident or emergency which requires our professional assistance.
Sure. So there is ongoing training.
That's correct.
For fire officers.
And don't forget the fire prevention that we are going on, the team that we have going out to business places and also the schools and government areas.
Right. Okay. So you have to be up to date in terms of the latest techniques and so on in firefighting. Now, what would be some of the other initiatives, recent initiatives within the fire and rescue services? You mentioned training,
Yes.
ongoing training. Is there any other?
Recently, we just received 8 new fire officers newly enlisted to our manpower that will help us to better serve the general economy and the citizens of our federation. Now, recently we also received a state-of-the-art Panther 4x4. Wasn't Bauer equipment. That's the company that manufactured the appliance. Now,
So that would make your fleet what? Your fleet of fire trucks.
fire trucks. At the
How
airport,
many?
At the airport,
In all?
In all. Okay, in all we have let's say about 3 stations, 3 old stations. 3 old stations. We have in St. Kitts, we have 7 in St. Kitts, 3 in Newcastle, in Nevis.
Okay.
That's about 10 we have
You have 10.
functioning.
And do you consider that to be adequate for the population and so on? Is it?
Yes, for now it's adequate.
For
but
me,
when
I'll say no. So I will say no for the outstations. He will say
In
yes
terms of
for
distance,
airports.
yeah. For
Yes.
example, if let's say there's a fire in Otlis, you have yes. So you have to take into consideration how far that fire truck is coming from,
Yes.
and depending on how far that fire truck is coming from, then that will be that would be a determinant in terms of the containment of that fire
yes,
and the stabilization of the incident.
Yes, that is so true.
Yes.
So I will say we need more appliances.
Okay. but you recently received a fire truck, and from what you were saying, it's a top of the line fire truck that is up at the airport. Could you tell us what some of makes it a top of the line fire truck?
No, it has capability of extinguishing media, the whole complete the media in the appliances. It takes a minute to expel all the media, which gives us the firefighting capabilities of knocking down a fire in quick time. So that's one of the capabilities we have, and also the auxiliary agent, 500-pound dry powder. That too, when we use it with the foam combined, we get a quick knockdown. So that's a couple of the basic information that we use to extinguish our fires at the airport.
Okay. Good. Now, let's look at staffing for the Fire and Rescue Services Department. What are some of the qualities that you would look for in recruiting fire officers?
No, it's really some of the qualities we look for. In for example,
Sometimes when you're a little boy and so on, or a little girl, you are attracted to the whole idea of being a firefighter. And children somehow like to see firefighters, in their helmets and their whatever and so on. And of course they have a hose in their hand and all of that sort of a thing. But as you grow older and so on, that idea might change. Now, who are some of the people, the characteristics that you would look for in somebody wanting to join the fire and rescue services?
No, some of the characteristics we require or we look for is, for example, persons with medium build in body, male or female, disciplined persons who are disciplined, persons who want to love assisting or helping persons rendering the service to the general public. You have to be 18 years, 18 to 25 years in order for you to join the fire department. And one of the things we look for as well, if you have your Class C license, which will that will require you to drive the appliance, because we can't have too many drivers. So that's one thing we look for as well. You come into the fire department with your driving skills. That is a plus. And any other skill set you anybody may have it, you require that.
Let me add also health-wise.
Right.
Health plays a very important part. The job that we do it's risky, but it is nice, but your health have to be good. You cannot come in with a bad back, a bad ankle. The clothing alone, the protective clothing, it is not light like the ordinary clothes. The boots are a bit heavy. You have to carry a hose, which not a normal garden hose. Having water, so your health have to be good. You have to have good, you don't have to have respiratory problems because we're dealing with smoke. So therefore, your health have to be
Right.
up there also.
So people who are asthmatic and so on are certainly disqualified.
Yes, we don't expect you to come in with asthma because that's what you have to face.
Right. Now, in terms of fire officers, how many fire officers are there?
We have staff,
in total?
including the chief and the
Yes.
109. That's
You have
the
a
staff.
you have 109 fire officers,
Yes.
both here in St.
Saint
Kitts
Kitts and the Nevis.
and Nevis. That's the total number.
Yes.
Okay. Now, it is my understanding that you have a week of activities coming up. Tell me a little bit about this week of activities, the theme, reason for choosing the theme, and some of the activities that you would have during that week.
No,
The theme is
working harder together to preserve our federation. No, we the team, we chose the team because we worked hand in hand with our partners, as we say, for national security, the police, the prison, and the army. So that is what we chose that team, and also to help us to put out what we do, because that's our main idea. We want to preserve our federation by teaching and having these fire tips and doing our program. So we want to be working harder together, because you can't do it alone.
Right.
So together comes about, as I said before, working together with our partners in national security. Our week of activities this year, this is 18 years since we have a separate unit, a separate entity from the police, St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, and we want to have a week of activities. This week of activities stems around our International Firefighters Day, which is the 4th of May.
Okay.
4th of May. So we want to tie that into our week of activities. Now from the 29th to the 6th of May, 29th of April, sorry, the 6th of May is our scheduled dates for our activities. I'm going to let Ms. Clark shed some more light on the activities.
Certainly.
on Sunday, 29th April, is our church service. In everything we do, we need to put God first and be thankful for bringing us this far without any casualties or anything. We are real grateful for that, and as a unit. We are going to worship. St. Kitts Leg is going to worship at the Calvary Baptist Tabernacle, that's at Sandy Point. And the Nevis Leg will worship at Shiloh Baptist Church, that's at Ramsbury. On Monday, 30th April is our community day.
Yes.
Each station will do something in their district. Bastia, we are going to go to the St. Christopher home, that's the children's home. We're going to give them some recreational toys and play with them a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sandy Point will take food hampers to an elderly in each of the village in their district. Tabernacle will assist a lady whose house got damaged in one of the hurricanes. They're going to help her to put on galvanized or whatever she have on her roof. Nevis will issue food hampers also. We are also going to give Mr. Hensley a food hamper. That's Bastia. The reason being he is the second superintendent when we were underneath fire. The first one, Mr. Galloway, he passed away, so that's why Mr. Hensley steps in there. Tuesday, 1st May, that's our open day. We'll be at Bank Street. And as Mr. Kane spoke about the new truck that we got the other day, it will be there to be charading. You can come and see it. Come and see what we use, our tools, the jars of life that we use to cut people out of vehicles. A lot of tools that we use, our uniform, everything will be on display. And you can ask us questions. We'll have forms to fill out if you're interested to join. Anything you need to know about fire department, you can come and know on that day. Wednesday, 2nd May, we're going to go over to Nevis and have a 2020 cricket match, Firehawks versus Firestorm. That will be quite interesting. Mm-hmm. Thursday, the 3rd of May, we'll have a Fire Jeopardy game show at the Bastia Fire Station. Each station will compete against each other to see who will take the trophy. Friday, 4th May, we'll have a fire drill competition that's in front of Ramsbury Road, and it starts at 1300 hours, that's 1 p.m. Come and see what we do daily and certain things that we don't do daily. It will be quite interesting. We'll be competing again against each station. Saturday, 5th May, Sports Day competition again, and that will be at Newtown playing field, 1100 hours. Stations against stations again, and each station is sending their threats. Sunday, the 6th of May, which wraps up everything, we are going to go on the beach, socialize, relax, no competition, talk about who lost and everything. And it will be at Cockleshell Beach in St. Kitts and in Mavis, Sandy Crab Hole Beach, starting from 12. Mr. Lesroy, you and your crew, you are invited to come.
Okay, we'll consider it. Anything you want to add?
No, just to say that this is highly anticipated week of activities for us and for the general public. We want everyone to come out and support us, because support is what we need. Support will make us stronger, and we also going to build community relations as well. So
No, I do know that, for example, May 4th is observed as International Firefighters Day.
Good.
And that observance started on January 4th, 1999.
Yes,
And the reason why it started, it was due to
5 days in Australia.
5 deaths of firefighters in Australia. And from since then, it has been observed
Right.
worldwide. Now, will there be some sort of an address for International Firefighters Day? I do know that, for example, when they have,
Women's Day.
yes, the observance of other days and so on, World AIDS Day and all that sort of a thing, there is an address. Do you know if this year there will be an address for International Firefighters Day?
That would be something to look into. That's
Well,
quite interesting.
we are still.
You know, to highlight the
Yes.
important
Yes.
work
That is true.
and the risky work that you do.
This week is our last week of organizing, and yes, we have it in our pipeline, as person may say. We have it in our pipeline. We don't want to let out the bags as yet. So when we come up with it, we want to be a surprise to the public.
Okay.
So yes, we have thought of the idea,
Mm-hmm.
and we will pursue it.
Mm-hmm. And throughout the world, it's the red and blue.
Red and blue, that's
Is
correct.
that where it came
Red and
from?
blue,
The
yes.
red and blue?
Yes.
Yes.
Since 1999.
Yes, that signifies that
So all over the world, firefighters wear
red and blue.
red and blue. Now, what is the significance of the colors? Could you tell us?
Well,
The significance of the colours.
The colors, the red is a partnership between the fire and the emergency medical staff, the EMS.
Mhm.
So it's a sort of combined colors of both. Because the blue is for the EMS and the red is for the fire. So
Okay.
it's sort of combined. 'Cause, we have some fire officers trained EMT medics.
Mhm.
So that's why we have the combined colors.
Right. Now, in terms of this, the colors, in terms of their symbolism, the red is for what?
Fire
And the blue is for?
medics.
Or water. Isn't it? The blue, isn't the blue as well for water? So the red is for fire and the blue is for water. Isn't that so?
Yes.
It could represent
Yes,
the element
yes,
of
it
water.
could, yes.
We have the, the Silux blue. I mean, it is not blue.
Yes, but sky,
It's
yes.
because of the sky
Sky,
and
yes,
so
yes.
on. But, so the red and blue, that is how it came about from that International Firefighters Day. It was started in 1999. Okay. Now, gentleman and gentle lady, we have to go to the phone lines and to see what our people have to say. They should have something to say because they are being affected by all this lighting of fire all over the place and so on. We are going to open the phone lines, and the numbers to call are 1-718-577-2916. That's the international number. That's 1-718-577-2916. And the local number is 465-2555. That is 465-2555. We welcome your calls. Working for you, good afternoon.
Mr. Lesroy Williams, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to Lesroy Keynes also,
Yes.
and the female fire officer. My name is Austin Coker, ex-fire officer. Now, I heard Mr. Williams ask Mr. Keynes a question about staffing. And if my memory serves me right, he said that they have a total of 109 persons, which I think is correct. But I think that the department is very much understaffed, and he will agree with me because I worked there for several years. We have approximately 7 fire stations between St. Kitts and Nevis. And when you divide 109 by 7, you get to about 15 persons per station. From that 15 persons, you have to have 2 shifts. They run a 2-shift system. So it means that it breaks down at least 7 persons per shift because they don't have 24-hour shift, which put the men them under a lot of pressure because they do more hours than the ILO states. They do more than 40 hours a week, more than 160 hours per month. Firefighters also carry the label that they over the linemen. It is not like how the public have it. Firefighters does a lot of different work which the public may not be aware of, and I thought that Mr. Keynes might have excel on that. For example, if health department has a problem with a drain downtown, is the firefighter. You have ministers coming in from overseas, protocol driving, firefighters. The firefighters still have his or her duty to perform at the station. So the men and don't really learn as how people see it to be. They have to do guard duties at the front desk. They're also responsible for selling drivers the license. So they do a lot of work, and I think if it hasn't been changed, they do their own maintenance of their vehicles. So it takes pressure off of the public works and other areas. So firefighters, in my humble opinion, they are not treated fair. I am not bashing neither the Army Department nor the government, but I think for me, they need more manpower. That is my input until I come back later.
Okay, thank you for your input. Working for you, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Williams,
Good afternoon, sir.
and good afternoon to the good firefighters them there.
Good afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Now, my little input to you all this afternoon is about a month or 2. We had some devastated grass fire going to the Federation. Back and forth, all in the night. The fire truck passing. And I want to know that anyone catch light in them fire. If it's anything, whether is livestock farmers, or bunk farmers, or somebody lighting fire to get the land clean up or something, because fire is very dangerous. What become if you catch that person, or somebody catch that person and report that person? What law, or what charge they will fall under? Because it's very, very serious, you know, because sometimes I out walking in the night and somebody gonna call me and tell me that I let a fire up the mountain politics. But you animal them safe? I say I don't know. In the morning when I go, if I don't go on a piece of cement up and to the train, the cement shop burn off, but when I'm going to go on cement shop to the train. And of them lose 20 animals because of them wild grass fire. People are spawning up and down the place. And I think it is sad, sad, sad. Because even some of the farmers fool them. They've just caught up and all. Anyway, listen up here.
Okay, thank you for your contribution. Working for you, good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. I have a couple of questions for the firefighters there. The first one is, who investigates for the fire department?
Okay, that's your question?
No, I got another one, huh?
Certainly, ask it. And then you can listen to the answer offline.
No, I prefer to dialogue, because when you ask questions and people go and say things and you can't respond to it.
They will respond, I assure you of that. Ask your second question, please.
Okay. The other question is, do you have an investigator? And if not, why not? And I hope they're not going to tell me the police does investigate fire, because police cannot investigate fires. They are not trained for that. That's my question.
Okay, thank you so much. You can listen to the answer offline. Okay, Mr. Keynes and Miss Clark, you want to respond to those callers?
No, I'm going to touch on Mr. Austin Coco. Yes, we need more men, more manpower. I must say the government they are working with us in requirements of getting the manpower. They assure us that they're going to assist the manpower situation. They already started. I said earlier that we got 8 newly enlisted persons, so they are working with us. We're not going to get it right away, but they're assisting us, and they're hearing us, and they're working with us in reference to the manpower situation. Now, when you come to the fire, who investigates the fire department, we're going to say everybody in terms of our senior staff who goes out. We have the minimum requirements, minimum knowledge when it comes to investigating the fire, and we have some training in that as well, in not investigating the fire, some of the causes, some of the areas we could say, well, this area is fire started here, and we could we do research and we find out exactly what causes the fire. But yes, we do investigate the fire. Now, when you come to arson investigation, we don't have any certified arson investigators within the fire department, but we have officers who are trained, have different workshops that go on to gain different knowledge in fire investigation. So that's the answer to both of the questions.
Okay. Right. Would you care to say anything, Ms. Clark? Huh? He answered all. So basically, you think you could do it more staff?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
In reference to the major development we have going on right now, the 5-year action plan speaks about the fire department over at the Southeast Peninsula, and we see developments happening there every day. So that is one of the areas we have in our 5-year action plan. The different stations, and of course you need different persons to man the different stations. So yes, that is a requirement we have in our 5-year action plan.
So there will be a station over on the Southeast Peninsula.
Yes.
And you would need working for you. Good afternoon.
Pleasant afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, let me ask some questions here. I hear them talk about the fire department, right? But this is something they need to label out on the table. In terms of the normal firefighters, the volunteer, and the other different parts in it, right? So the government is not putting enough money into the fire department. The government have the fire department as a joke or laughing stock for the whole country. You understand? So, therefore, I would like them to answer this simple thing, this simple question. Tell the public how important the ambulance be to the fire department and how important it be to the international standards. I went to a town hall meeting and talk about it and nothing has done about it for the dictators that we have here. The set of dictators, them. You understand?
So
therefore,
look,
then
you have to look at your language.
Huh?
You have to look at your language. State the facts without calling names or that sort of thing. We don't appreciate that in this program. You state the facts without making derogatory comments about others.
Okay,
Is
let me
that
state
clear?
the facts.
Right.
I would like them to state the importance of the ambulance in the fire department and also to our international standards. I would like them to talk about the volunteers and the auxiliary and the normal firefighters. I would like them to talk about the different parts in the fire department in terms of the medical, vehicle execution, in a term like if we could get these in a different section to do things, the fire department will be more forceful in everything. And I would like to know, whenever they have building board, who does go to the building board and pass some of these plans with these 4-storage, 5-storage building when you don't even have a truck here in St. Kitts who can take something. Look at Marriott, for instance, they have them. So let us talk about that and I'll listen out here.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Keynes.
In 2000, we separated from the police. Back then, under the police, we had the ambulance was basically with us, and that was before they had the EMTs. But now it has been taken from us, per se. Now since they have the EMT at the hospital, there's no need for us to yes, we have ambulance requirement, but the EMTs at the hospital specifically deal with that. But we have some fire officers are trained EMTs, and we are more like first responders. We go out and we assess and until the EMTs come. So it's not really solely our responsibility per se. We are trained personnel there that will assist and when we go to the scene until the specialist comes. But yes, we have that sort of requirement.
Okay.
With that caller also speaking about the different departments, as the first caller called and said that we don't have enough men, so we cannot have departments like how the police have CID, SVU, crime scene. Yes, I understand what he's saying because we will need for fire prevention, we need for he means for road RTC, road traffic collision. Like he means different aspects, but we don't have the manpower to have departments, to have different departments. So we have to work like that. And I think I understand, I think I know what he's speaking about with the ambulance. Usually, internationally, an ambulance is supposed to be at each fire station. I think that I know where he's coming from. So that is what he means by how come we do not have one. When he's speaking about that.
A caller on the line. Working for you, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Nevis need a proper fire truck. That only having Nevis is like a snail.
The fire truck is like a snail.
Need a proper fire
No,
truck.
you can't have a fire truck like a snail. I don't know if that is the appropriate analogy that you wanted to use. Go ahead.
When you have fire, crawling ain't fast enough. And it's Nevis fire department never save a house yet.
It's not fast enough.
No, it's a snail.
Oh,
It's a snail. Thank you very much.
okay. Mr. Keynes,
Yes, I was saying
the caller is calling back. Working for you, good afternoon.
Mr. Lesroy, me again, Austin Coker.
Yes, Mr. Coker.
Yeah. People don't understand the pain that firemen go through. When you have a burning structure, the amount of different gases and chemicals that sometimes be in that house, it is very, very, very difficult for firemen to deal with. They have to inhale sometimes almost all of those different gases via smoke. Secondly, you have electricity sometimes to be in the building. And then let me take a step further. If they get information that a child or an elderly person is in that building, you know the risk they have to take and the mechanism they have to put in place to get inside there, to get out that child or that elderly person. I have had experience with that, so I can speak about it. Fire officers, I just don't know how to say it because I'm very passionate about it. They go the extra mile because when you are sleeping 1 o'clock in the night and that fire bell goes down, they have just between 60 to 90 seconds to get dressed and get on the appliance. Some of the fire officers running with one boot on, they cover all halfway on because they have to get to that scene. Fire officers go through a lot, Mr. Williams.
Yes. I do
I
not
am no
doubt
longer
you.
part of it, but I mean, my heart goes out for them because I have given the fire department 13 long years of service, so I know it. I know it, and Mr. Keynes can tell you he came there, met me working, and he's there for approximately now 19 to 20 years. He can't tell you he came there as a little boy and met me working there. So they've got to a lot, Mr. Lesroy Keynes. And it's a painful job for fire officer because if you Lesroy Williams has to hold one of those holes in your hand, and that pump operator puts on the pressure on that hole, it looks like a little prayer trail in the ear. It's a technique. People don't know it. But I would listen again off here.
Certainly. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Keynes, do you care to respond to Mr. Coker?
Well, the most I'm going to say, Mr. Coco, yes, he's correct. Our profession is a unique one. It's a unique one, and we yes, and risky, and we do go and be on the call of duty. You know, I want to touch again on the manpower situation. As I said before, the government is hearing us. They're working with us. So it's not like the government is not doing anything. You know, and yes, we do need the manpower, and they promise they will get the manpower for us, but it's not going to come at the snap of the finger. You know how it goes when you come to that thing implying persons like that. So they are working with us in terms of getting the manpower ways, and also the as I said before, the development in the country, that too is one of the important aspects that we are looking at. You know, because we're striving on our main economy booster, that's tourism. So the economy boosting with the tourism, and then likewise we will get the manpower to balance it out. But as I said before, it's not going to come as a wink, you know.
Now, if I had to ask you, what are some of the challenges that you have faced in firefighting? What have been your personal experience in terms of those challenges? What would you say? Because both of you have gone to fight fires. I would hope so.
Yes. Yes.
And there would have been some challenges. Do you care to tell the audience what are some of the challenges, the difficulties that you would have faced?
My last fire call was a house fire. That's in Newtown. First challenge, electricity. Still extinguish it, but we use the technique. Shut on, shut off. The second challenge, fire hydrants. The third challenge, the closeness of the houses. I don't know if building board know that how the houses are. The fourth challenge is a job card giving the other person power. Those are some dangerous challenges that we face. The electricity was the first challenge, but we managed to get it out and kept it under control so it did not destroy the other homes. And if we don't have enough water, that's a bigger challenge there. We can only do as much.
Right. Now, part of your training, I would imagine, is in knowing where some of the fire hydrants are, so that you can connect to be able to get water. Do you have challenges in that? In finding where they are?
No, because we have to do hydrant patrol, so you'll be familiar where the hydrants are. The next challenge that we face, water. Some of the hydrants, they don't have no pressure, so we can't fill up from that hydrant. We'll have to go to another hydrant that will be able to give us water.
And the very fact that we're having these water shortages due to sort of drought-like conditions, reduction in rainfall and so on, does that affect your work?
Yes, it does. Very much it does. The last year we had a house fire in McKnight. We didn't have any water. I was working. I had to call airport to assist us because hydrants there, yes, no water. And it was houses, and you know how the houses are sometimes in McKnight.
Okay, now what backup system is in place, for example, if you have no water? Because water is not the only thing that can be used throughout fires. Is there a backup system if there is not enough water? So you want to tell me if there's not enough water, my house will burn down? Is that it?
An extinguisher cannot out a big flame.
No.
We can use the seawater. That's another form, yes, but then depending on the distance of the water, how far you are from the seawater. So even though we have problems with water, we have numbers to persons in water departments. Should they shut them off, we call them, they will come and assist us, they will open up and we will get water. But speaking about water, we are fire officers. Yes, you hear water department speak and say that they are rationing out water. You all take heed with the water. Take heed with it, please, because your own house burning, no water, and you go and brush your teeth, leaving the water, running, showering, leaving the water, running and using the water carelessly, it's a problem also.
So here it is, we are speaking again about the critical importance of water.
And
Mr. Kane.
That's our main agent for extinguishing fire, water.
Mr. Keynes, your challenges, your experiences. She shared hers.
Yes.
Now it's time to share yours.
Though the challenges is when it comes to training. Training is one of the challenges. We don't get enough training. Recently we have our staff recently due to the vast retirement of some of the elder officers. We have staff, young staff per se. The majority of staff we have presently young persons from the ages of like say 30 to 20. So we need some more training. That's one of the major challenges we have, because we need to get the training for the officers so they can perform the duties effectively. And without training, they cannot effectively and efficiently extinguish a fire. So that's one of the major changes we have. Now, next challenge I see we face, in terms of our in-house training. The areas, we don't have any specific area for in-house training. That too could also help us to alleviate some of the fears when it comes to outing fires. We have the training. We need a complex per se. So we have our training. We do our different aspects of when it comes to flash over, flash point, we need a facility so we could train the officers them there, so they could have the general feel or the know-how of what and how a fire operates and how it behaves under certain conditions. So those are two of the major challenges we have.
Okay. Now you hold a summer camp every year, don't you?
Yes.
For young people. What's the objective of holding that summer camp?
The objective of holding the summer camp is to reduce the amount of fires caused by children, the death that cause the amount of death of children die from fires. Now, the process of educating the children, we see that that's a good avenue of going to educate the children, because they are the future of our federation. So as we start to nurture the children at a young age, from ages 5 to 12, that is our target avenue where our technique we use in the reduction of fires in our federation.
Okay.
And as we start, we educate the younger ones. As they go along, they will not forget what they learn. And then some of them are very excited when it comes to the siren and the color of the chop. You know, as you touched on the program, Mr. Williams. This year, our program, the theme for our program this year is protecting the future of our federation through fire safety awareness. And just to share not too much on the summer program, but the dates for this year's program, the Nevis leg is from the 9th to the 13th of July 2018, and the St. Kitts leg is the 16th to the 20th July 2018, and it's for 5 days.
Okay.
Free of cost.
Free of cost. Now I must tell you that we are out of time. And do you have anything to say before we go? Maybe you would like to refresh us, Ms. Clark, in terms of your week of activities.
Sunday, the week of activities events. Sunday, 29th April, church service. St. Kitts, Calvary Baptist Tabernacle, Nevis, Shiloh Baptist Church. Monday, 30th April, Community Day, and each station will do something in their district. Tuesday, 1st May, Open Day, and we'll be at Bank Street from 9 until 4. Wednesday, 2nd May, 2020 cricket match, and it's in Nevis starting from 11 o'clock. Thursday, 3rd May, is Fire Jeopardy game show, and it's at Bastia Fire Station, and it starts at 1900 hours. Friday, 4th May, fire drill competition. It's at Ramsby Road, and it starts at 1300 hours. Saturday, 5th May, is our sports day, and it's at Newtown playing field, starts at 1100 hours. Sunday, 6th May, Beach Flex, Cockleshell Beach, St. Kitts, and the Sand Crab Hole Beach, Nevis, starts at 1200 hours until.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Keynes, is there anything that you would like to say
Yes.
before we go?
Finally, I just want to say to the general public to come on out on the 4th of May, International Firefighters Day. That's where we're going to be down at Rams. And also going back on the 2nd of May, we have our open day. We will showcase our equipment and all of our documents and what we use at the fire department. And I want to also thank partner who partner with us for this year's activities. Scaspo has come on board this year with us as a partner with us for our week of activities. So I just want to say thanks to them and big up Scaspo.
Okay.
And I would also like to say, please, to the listening public, adhere to our fire safety tips. It will save us and it will save you to protect your lives and your property. Thank you.
And finally, Mr. Williams, I want the general public to be aware of our Facebook site. The Facebook site, SKNFRS, St. Kitts Fire Rescue Services. So go on and search for us. We're gonna have our daily tips on the site, daily tips and daily pictures of our daily activities. And I want to say finally, on behalf of the Fire Chief Agawo, thank you for having us on your program once again. We are greatly appreciated.
You're most welcome. I want to thank you, Ms. Clark, and thank you, Mr. Keynes, once again for being on this program. You know, there is a saying that when your neighbor's house is on fire, you wet your own. And what that really means is that, you know, we have to be take all the precautionary measures that we can to prevent certain hazards from becoming disasters. And I want to thank both of you for sharing today in terms of the important role that the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services plays in terms of our national security, in terms of our safety and our security. And those of us who are, you know, willfully lighting fires and all that sort of a thing, as you heard today, you must stop it. Stop it. You have been listening to another edition of Working for You. I am your host, Lesroy Williams. See you next week for another edition of Working for You. Thank you very much, of course, to our callers and our listeners. We appreciate you very much from week to week. Have a good day.
Working for You. A weekly talk radio program which highlights developments of national interest and the activities of your St. Kitts Nevis government. Join host Lesroy Williams as he presents news, views, reports, and interviews about everything regarding the activities of the Team Unity government and the building of our communities and the development of St. Kitts Nevis. Tune in and call in to interact with your government and share your views regarding the upward forward development of your community and our beautiful Twin Island Federation. Working for You is weekly, every Wednesday live from 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m. on ZIZ Radio, Win FM, and Sugar City FM with rebroadcasts on participating stations. Working for You.